Hey, guten Erev Shabbos, everyone. I imagine you're all getting ready for Shabbos. What a brutal day we've had in Boston. It's mid-April here, but it's been snowing and cold. In fact, we put up a tent at the shul, but because of the cold, we didn't think it would be, but there's snow on top of the tent, and we had to get up on top and climb and pull all the snow off of the tent, or else the tent would have collapsed. In any case, we're hoping it's the last goodbye to winter and we get back to the nice weather. So first of all, L'chaim, it's Erev Shabbos. There's nothing better than a little bit of L'chaim to warm our souls as we get ready for Shabbos. So I had a question for you. When you are climbing a ladder, do you look up what's above you or do you look down? If you had a choice of a medal in an Olympics, would you choose silver or would you choose bronze? Let's say you knew you can't get gold, you're not in that league, but you had a choice of silver or bronze. Hold those questions, because I want to tell you something interesting. In this week's Torah portion, we learn about leprosy. Leprosy was a spiritual ailment. Tsaras. It was like leprosy, not exactly, because it was a spiritual ailment that it came from speaking gossip, not speaking nicely about others, and because of how we were inside, it impacted our literal skin. And the word used for tsaras, for the ailment, is called nega. Now the word nega, which means a plague, if you turn the letters around, could be oneg, which means to have a pleasant, a joyful Oneg Shabbat, a celebration of Shabbat, a sweet Shabbat. And what the Torah is telling us is, you see, this week's Torah portion, we look about how to not just see the ailment, but perceive it. And really what the Torah is trying to tell us is that the way we perceive things is really about how we see it. And we could see things in two ways. I'll tell you a fascinating story. When the Lubavitcher Rebbe was a young kid, it's one of my favorite stories because it teaches exactly about how the Rebbe lived and what his motto was. So one day the Rebbe was playing outside with a bunch of kids, and there was a very tall tree, and they were all trying to climb the tree, and each of the kids would climb up, 5 feet, 6 feet, and then they would climb back down 7 feet, 8 feet. And suddenly the Rebbe's mother's watching, and she sees the Rebbe climbs up the tree, and he climbs all the way till the top, 20, 25 feet, whatever it was. No fear. So when he comes back down, she smiles and she says, good job to the Rebbe. And she asks the Rebbe, how was he able to get up all the way to the top while all the other kids were scared and didn't go all the way up? And the Rebbe said something so powerful. The Rebbe said, you see, they look below them and they see how high they are, so they're scared and they might fall. He says, I look above me and I see how much I still have to accomplish. I see how much there is still above me. And therefore, I'm not scared. It's about our perspective. It's about how we see things. The nega could become an oneg. There was this lady, Victoria Medvik, I think. She did a fascinating study, a case in the 1992 Olympics called When Less is More. And she basically studied, so we all know gold medal's the best, right? But she did a study from the people's their emotional reaction and their physical reaction to the Olympics, who is happiest to get their medal. And of course, the gold were the happiest people. People who got a gold medal were happiest. But then, you would think naturally, who would be the next happiest? The people that got silver. But ironically, and interestingly, the people who got silver were less happy than the people who got bronze. But anyone that knows, silver is much more valuable than bronze. Why? And the answer through her study that she came about with was like this. You see, the people who got a silver, they kept on thinking, oh my gosh, if I would have tried a little harder, if I would have pushed myself a little more, I could have got a gold medal. Look at this, I only got a silver, but I could have got a gold, and then I would have had gold. The people who got a bronze, they said to myself, oh my gosh, I almost didn't get a medal. Thank God I got a bronze, or I would have walked home without anything. So they were so happy, as opposed to the people who were hoping to have gotten a gold. And that's what she titled her study, When Less is More. That sometimes when we appreciate compared to what we have, or compared to what we could have had, then we're happy. And I always speak about this, but this year Israel went up in the study of happiest countries. It went up one rung, I think, from 13th place to 12th place. And it always boggles me. We live in America, the land of everything, the land of fullness. Whatever we want, we get. The government keeps on giving people checks, and there's so much abundance here. Yet Israel is a much happier country than us. And the question is why? And I've spoken about this before. And the answer might be because in Israel, they don't take the little things for granted. They fight for their survival every day. They're surrounded by billions of people who want to kill them, who want to annihilate them. They have to think every day about Iran and about their centrifuges and how they're upping their uranium output. So because of that, they appreciate the little things. They appreciate that after 1900 years in exile, we could defend ourselves. They appreciate to be in their homeland that God gave us, the Eretz Yisrael, thousands of years ago. But here in America, we're always wanting for more. There is no gratitude for those things. And that's one of the ideas of Dayenu, which we spoke about before. The whole idea of Dayenu, that it's not just about saying, oh, I could have had more. No, Dayenu is about saying, not just thank you, but it's about our perceiving things, how we see things. Do we see things as the cup half empty or the cup half full? Do we see what we could have, what we have, or what we want to have? I think it's an important lesson when we speak about, how we speak about others too. This week's Torah portion we read about leprosy. It comes from gossip, and you're not allowed to speak gossip. But sometimes it was so easy to judge with our left eye instead of judging with our right eye. Instead of judging the positive. So Hashem should give us, as we get ready for Shabbos, we should celebrate the miracle of Israel. We should celebrate the miracle in our own lives. And if you see snow, perspective. Last week was 65, next week will be 65. See the perspective. Be happy in your life. See the things we have. And may we always celebrate together. L'chaim. Good Shabbos.